Hey you guys, welcome back to My True Flights here. If you joined this video, you want to learn some quick hacks about how you can keep your costs low in Morocco. Y'all have so much tea for y'all. Y'all need to stay. So I know it's been a minute. But listen, we're getting back to the videos. And of course, the first video is going to be about our trip in Morocco. Yes, y'all, don't hold me. The trip was in October. It was in October and it's January. But I know that there were so many great parts of this trip that I wanted to really share with you guys. So if this is your tea, stick into this one. You want to know all of it all the tips. We often travel in October, my daughter and I, and some of her friends on occasion, for her birthday, and we decided to do Morocco just because obviously who don't want to be in Africa. Morocco's culture was so great, but we did some key things that made our experience great. So we initially did an itinerary of the things, some ideas that we wanted to try, and I'll link that, you guys, below, all of the ideas we had. But this video is going to tell you about the actual ones that we did and about the cost of it. She really wanted to do a dinner and a show. If you've done all your research already, you know that that's a huge thing there. And we decided to do a dinner with a show. I'll add some things here or here about what that experience was. The singer was phenomenal. When I tell you that the singer was singing in mainly English, but she did some French songs, she did an array, she did some Spanish songs, she did an array of songs, but the bulk of her show was in English. And her voice was incredible. But more importantly, the acrobats that was going on as a part of the show, the dancers, oh my gosh, y'all. When y'all see in this video how there was a woman suspended in the air by her hair bun, took the tea for us. What I would say, let me see, I believe the name of that restaurant was Dinner with Fantasia. I'll also link that there. I'm sorry, you guys, it's been a minute, so I don't recall the exact names, and I'm sure that in the list below I'll kind of highlight what the name of the show was. But the food in Morocco, hands down, was incredible. At this particular location, at this dinner, we sat in like an outside space of a beautiful restaurant, and they had like this long walkway or runway that they did all of their performances at. We sat right off to it, and she made her way around the room beautifully. The food, we got like calamari, we got like Singapore noodles, we got tagine, we got so much food at a very great price. I think the dinner and show was probably ran us about $70-$80, but again, that include the food and the show. There wasn't a real admissions. The aesthetics of this place, y'all, it had a cute little Barbie box when you entered the establishment, and I took some pictures. Here are the pictures. Yes, y'all, they had like the swings, and we took a couple pictures at the swings. It was just such an incredible experience. You didn't have to get tickets or anything along that line. You just had to know where to go to actually do your dinner and the show. Now, some of the dinners and shows we've seen was like in a desert. There you had to drive out an hour or so, but this one was in Marrakech, Morocco, and the food was dynamic. It was super close to where our hotel was, maybe about a 15-minute drive. I'll tell y'all about the secret Ubers in Morocco further into this video. But earlier on, we were doing like services, like a taxi service, which was a little more expensive. Morocco in general wasn't very expensive, but the taxi cabs were so much more than the little bootleg Uber they got out there. And I'll tell y'all about that experience in a second. But the first thing first is to do a dinner and a show. I'll link the one we went to. And as you can see from these videos, y'all, that show was thebomb.com. And on where to actually eat, we also went to Nobu in Morocco. The food was good. The food was good, nowhere near what that dinner and show food was, y'all. That dinner and food show was on a whole different level. When I tell y'all a whole different level, it was on a whole different level. But Nobu's service to me wasn't that great. But the food was decent. It was supposed to be a show there as well, and they actually didn't have the performers that evening. So we sat out by like on a rooftop by a poolside. The food was decent. The service wasn't that great, and we did hookah. What I would tell you, in Marrakech, Morocco, we went and we did hookah. Hookah is a big thing. They do it with tea, and you'll find when you go to Morocco that tea and hookah is the thing. It is not the same hookah that's in the city, y'all, or in the US. The hookah was what do they call this? What's the stuff? The shisha. There we go. The shisha in Morocco is just different. Like, where's the tobacco? Y'all, maybe I'm a smoker, and I'm not a smoker, but I enjoy hookah in the US because it does have a bit of tobacco in it. It didn't have that. It didn't appear to have that in Marrakech. So I would say that if you're looking, you may be a little disappointed with the hookah, but they do serve hookah at many of the lounges. Surprisingly, you guys, in terms of eating out and dining, not many places offered alcoholic beverages. So it was 5 of us on this trip, and obviously we went to duty free and got alcohol. So we had wine and champagne and that sort of stuff for our Airbnb. But when we went out, maybe once or twice we actually purchased alcohol beverages, and it was when we had a sit down dinner at a great establishment. We had it at Nobu and also at the dinner and show. However, my daughter and her friends wanted Casamigos shots. And they had to actually leave the restaurant to go get them a shot at a different establishment because they didn't have it there. Again, alcohol is not very big in Marrakech, but so just prepare yourself for that. So I would say that the tip in terms of your dining experience is to try to find an establishment that possibly offers some entertainment, and also be mindful that everywhere you go may not actually offer libations. You might need to grab your cocktails before, and or just be prepared that every establishment you may not be able to get a cocktail there, or wine to that degree. So activities, I know y'all waiting for these activities. Second thing is that you do want to find some things that you can do in terms of when you're actually in Morocco. We, again, in our itinerary had a list of things that was some possibilities for us to do. And then we kind of gauged based on how we felt what we would do when we actually got there. Although we had alternative dates of what we would like to do, because as you will hear in the activities, some of them take a bit of time to get to, and you got to plan your day accordingly. So if you're not there for a very long time, you may not have an opportunity to take a 3-hour ride into the desert or to a waterfall. You may elect to do something more local. In terms of the activity was the Yves Saint Laurent's museum and Enchanted Garden. And I think the Enchanted Garden is called Majorelle Garden or one thing or another. And I'm sure that there's a way of saying that, but okay, here we are. I'm American. But the actual Enchanted Garden, y'all, hands down the most beautiful place that I've been in terms of the way that they set this garden up, y'all. All these exotic plants and flowers that they had. The architects in Morocco are already very beautiful, but this garden had the most beautiful, serene lily ponds and koi ponds and beautiful flowers. I'll also insert some pictures here so you guys can see it. but it was so colorful and just so enchanting. I loved our experience there. So this, I believe, was about $50. There's an option where you can do only the garden or only the museum, and we did do both. And I believe we paid about $50 for both. The story of this garden is that Yves Saint Laurent loved Marrakech, Morocco, because of its fabrics, because of its textures, and his lover had purchased this land and created this beautiful, beautiful space for him. So when he was there, they will have this beautiful estate that they will stay on. In the museum part, so sorry, outside of the garden, they have this great cafe that serves some of the most delicious tagine, which is a huge thing in Marrakech. Is one of their cultural foods. Their chicken, their lamb, but they'll do it in like a tagines seasoning. And y'all, when I tell y'all, the food in Morocco has been unmatched in my travel. And I done been some places, okay? I done been some places, but the food in Morocco hands down has been one of my best trips because of the culture, because of the activities, because of the company. Everything was just on one. It was on one. So after the garden, we sat down and had a beautiful lunch in this garden. There's a little cafe off to the side of it, and the waiter service was just so polite and kind and actually quite funny. The guy who we had, there was a stray cat that lives on the property, and he's like, this is the cat that took a picture with Oprah, and like the cat just sat at our table, like off of the table, which you'll also find if you are a feline lover. Then there's cats everywhere in Morocco. I didn't recall even seeing any dogs, but it's cats galore. And there's this one little cat that just kind of sat over waiting for us to probably drop food, but he was real comfortable, like he lived there. But he didn't bother us, he didn't beg, and it was just a great time. You'll also find that people just smoke in the establishments as well, which was new to us. In this particular museum, there was some space for like the people who were smoking were outside in the garden, but it was perfect. What I would also say is that part of the garden or the tour allows you to go into the museum, and the museum is like, if you are a fashion girl, they had all of his lines. They had a display, and I don't know if this is the thing that they have often, but they had all like his etching. They had pictures of him like working his work desk. They had another part of the museum that included like Moroccan's culture, so tribal stuff and very vintage tribal things that he gained inspiration from. So you see that part of it, and then you see his designs, and they had like live gowns from 2000s, from 1990s, like all of the things. And they had like a film of like his life and all of that sort of stuff. So that could be something you'll really, really enjoy. If nothing else, you absolutely want to go to the garden. I would tell you to go to the garden and have lunch. If you have limited time in Morocco, definitely try to go to the garden, sit down leisurely. Like, don't be in a rush to go somewhere. If you are with a large group and you guys are breaking off, go take a book in there, girl. You can literally spend the full day in the garden, because that's how large the garden was, and also just the aesthetics of it was just something you can just sit in, meditate, do all the things. It almost looked like an arboretum, y'all. In the actual, coming off the garden, going into the museum, there was also a gift shop where you can get coffee table books. They had a beautiful like fuchsia pink one, and they were pretty pricey. I guess all of those books are kind of pricey, but they were like between $60 and $80, but they were great items. They had like a gift shop where they had like perfumes. They had like another thing of his hobby was that he like etched postcards and would mail them to family, friends around the world, but he would actually draw the cards himself. And they have like prints of those postcards, and I got a few. This was from a postcard he sent out in 1988, or a drawing that he did in 1988. So you can get a number of postcards, and those were they were very, very reasonable in price. You can get like bracelets, you could get a number of things. You couldn't actually buy, I think it would have been so dope if they had an actual YSL store in the museum, but they didn't have that. But there was a gift shop that you can obviously get some of your souvenirs from. So save a little bit of your pocket change for a couple postcards, because you'll come out that garden wanting to buy something. They had these boxes of tea that you can purchase. You can just purchase a bag of it, but because tea again is a huge thing in Morocco. So don't forget to go to the YSL or Saint Laurent's garden when you guys are there, and also try out the museum. You may actually love the museum as well. The place we went to was the Ozon, I'm probably butchering this name, waterfall, which if you don't have a lot of time in Morocco, this may not be the place you want to go, because it was a 3-hour drive. It was a 3-hour drive, I believe, to get there. Yeah, y'all. 3-hour from where? Maybe not a 3-hour. Maybe the tour in general. No. It was about a 2 to 3 hour drive from where we were. But you'll find that in a lot of deserts. What I loved about the Ozon waterfall was that you travel through Morocco and actually see how the locals live. And that is a favorite part of my travel, actually seeing the culture of other places. And not that they're living in destitute conditions, but they're living drastically different in terms of their homes and that sort of things. And you get to see that on travel, and they're proud and love their homes. And but when you compare it to what we have in the States, it's so much, it almost appear, they're not huts, but they're not well structured homes. Like it looked like you might can lift the little tin they got on the houses for inclement weather, because that's how it doesn't appear to be very sturdy homes. And it's a lot of desert, right? You're seeing a lot of like camels and goats and such out in the desert. Is it goats? Did we see a goat? Monkeys for sure. Monkeys for sure. Okay. But one was off Valator, which is a kind of activity-based website for abroad activities. I'll also link that into the comments down below, or in the sheet that I'll also add in the information, where you can just tap below. But first, y'all, you better be hitting that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. No. Okay. But first, go hit that subscribe button. Before y'all go and get these notes, y'all go hit that subscribe button, because I do more videos like this. And I'm telling y'all, I'm going to tell y'all the cheapest way to travel and enjoy your travel, so you can still do all the things. But once we got to Ozon Waterfall, we had to have a hike. So if you don't have the capacity to hike for about 30 to 40 minutes, the hike, we started, they picked us up from our hotel, in front of our hotel. Then they picked up a couple other people from different hotels as a part of the drive. Because the drive was so long, we stopped and got breakfast. Maybe an hour out, we stopped at a local shop, had time to eat like a quick breakfast, and then we headed on again. And once we got there, you had to hike up to the waterfall. So if you don't have this capacity, you don't want to take that 3-hour ride. However, once you get on the hike, wild monkeys. They're like, please don't feed the monkeys. The monkeys will rip your head off. Meanwhile, You got people feeding the monkeys. Don't let the monkeys sit on your get close to you, get on you, so on and so forth. Meanwhile, you got people taking pictures with the monkey up here. These are wild monkeys, okay? They're feeding peanuts. And the locals are giving, like, selling you stuff so that you can feed them when they know it's very dangerous. Baby, I was running. When the monkeys got close, I was with the power walk. Olympic walker, okay? No, but there was a guy who was on travel by himself from London, and he grabbed some of those peanuts they were selling and was like, hold this, to my daughter's friend, and she was like, the monkeys ain't coming over here with us. So, you know, trying to actually feed the monkeys. But y'all, this woman took a picture with a monkey like right here. And remind you, we are in the desert, or we're like nothing but sand kind of around you, like dirt, okay? The monkey sat right here, and the whole tour, there was a monkey butt print on his shirt. And every time I looked at it, I cringed, okay? I cringed every time I looked at it, because this is how you bring back Ebola to your states. This is how we bring back COVID, okay? Different strains of viruses. When the people tell you don't do something, don't do it. Please don't do it. Let me put that right here. Don't do it. Okay, because it's not worth it. It's not worth harming yourself. That monkey could have ripped his head off. Nonetheless, I digress. The waterfall, once you get up to the waterfall, it was beautiful. Halfway up to the waterfall, you can kind of like, they had like a place where they were freshly pressing pomegranate juice and just all of the things. And you can sit down, and they had like snacks if you wanted to, but you can see the bulk of the waterfall. You can see the bulk. You went up a little more, you can see a beautiful place. They had like a boat that will take you a little closer to the waterfall, but also to the other side of, I'll say, the mountain, right? On the other side of the mountain, so then you can hike back down. So it was a workout, but it was well worth it. But once we got on the boat, they took us a little closer. You'll see that in some of these pictures here, where they're taking pictures of us. You can't get in the water. I've seen on pictures when we were actually planning the trip where people were actually getting on into the water. I won't advise it, but do you? I wore a bathing suit because I didn't know also what the aesthetics was going to be, because of the research. It showed you can, and also that you could possibly get wet by the water, very close to the waterfall. But mainly it was to get onto the other side of the mountain so that we can then have lunch in the mountain and then work our way back down. So that was a great experience. I think we paid for the total of pickup from our hotel and the tour hike. We might spend $60 there. $60 again. All that information will be below, you guys. You're gonna love this. If you're a nature kind of person, I will tell you it's a must do. When you get over, we had a beautiful lunch. Again, tagine lunch. I think I had lamb and rice and vegetables, y'all. Somebody else had like chicken and rice. It was so good. But during that, you can also do some like souvenir shopping, because locals are handcrafting things. Also, they were doing henna, so we got henna done. It was a great experience. Again, the ride is just very long, so that took a bulk of the day. What I loved about our Morocco trip, I think we stayed there a total of 5 days, but we didn't feel a need to like hurry up and do something. Hurry up, like boom, 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 boom. It wasn't like something activity after activity. We kind of did things at our leisure. We had a group of things that we wanted to do that was a must, and we planned that within the day, and those were the priorities. And if we had time for other stuff or was up for other stuff, then we did that. We had these plans to go to the nightclub and all that stuff. And we didn't necessarily go to a nightclub, but we did a lot of the like dinner and shows. But we went back to the room. Y'all, we found Uber Eats in Morocco, like when we was just having some downtime. We played, if you know, we played dos. And if you don't know how to play dos, come on, Come on, put y'all onto something. Dulce is so much fun. We probably played Dulce every night when we got back to the room and chilled. We had like at a late night, ordered pizza, had wine, chit chat. I went to bed, did some journaling in my room while my daughter and her friends were looking at, you know, their little shows on their laptop and having girl talk, and we would just have girl talk. It was just such a great trip, you guys. But Morocco was lit. Morocco was lit in a sense where as I get older, though I don't want to go to the club, but if that's your thing, there's plenty of places to go in Morocco for nightlife. I don't think we actually went to nightlife. No, I don't think we went. But it was on our list, but we were enjoying so much more of the time of just kind of after long days, we would just kind of come back in and settle in. I need to, y'all, this video is about to be super long, so let me try to get this, chop it up a bit. The next thing we did was a camel ride, ATV rides as well. So another thing that we drove into where they picked us up. We got the tickets the night before, but again, we had a list of all the places we would consider to do, because that will pick you up from your hotel. We did that. Went into the desert for about an hour, and then did ATV riding and rode camels. So we spent the bulk of the day there. As part of that tour, they offered like some light refreshments and tea, and then you make your way kind of back from your ATV camel excursion back into like where your transportation will pick you up. So if you're interested in that, also that will be linked below. I think we may spend about $60 for that as well, you guys. So if that's your thing, if you're adventurous, if you about the ATV life, and let me tell you, I'm not. ATVs are scary, you guys. ATVs, in my opinion, is scary. Activity we did, obviously you want to do the Souks. And the Souks is just essentially their market. It's an open market where they're selling all of their herbs, and maybe they're even selling knockoffs, and they're selling fruits and fabrics and all of the things. But you can get your hair done there. They will haggle you, y'all. And I know if you're doing your research, you've seen that. Say no, and you decide what you want, because they'll pull your hand and start doing henna. One of the girls got caught up doing it. They'll be like, oh, I want to do it for free, but then they'll still be asking for money. And it's nowhere near to the capacity that the people are doing it at like the waterfall, because they did a sleeve, and I may have a picture of it. I'll try to insert that too, where they did it for so much cheaper than what they're requesting in the Souks, in the marketplace, because again, they know all the tourists are coming to the marketplace, so they're upcharging you guys. So definitely go into the marketplace, have some fresh squoze juice, walk around, buy your stuff. The great experience in the marketplace, we had their government official, not official, but like staff that worked with their Marrakech, Morocco. They had a representative. As soon as we kind of got out, he had a badge on, not like a badge on. It almost scared you, because you do your research and kind of see, and we thought he was like somebody haggling and gonna be asking for money, but he said, no, let me take you. He was actually protecting us from people who were kind of trying to, you know, sell us everything. He'll say, I'll take you to the things that are authentic. Some of this stuff is coming from China. True tea. So he takes us to this pharmacy where they give us all this history about argan oil and how they're making it. The woman was there churning the argan oil, and then he was telling us about all the benefits. We purchased some stuff from there, prickleberry or someone thinking of I haven't even used it yet. It's January, y'all. But he talked about what can help for lowering cholesterol and all of the things. Like, he gave us a great tour. So we obviously got some things there. Then the man waited and took us into these other places. We got trinkets. It was a great thing. So if you see someone who may look more official, you can certainly follow him. They will likely be taking you to some of their actual people who are licensed to sell within the marketplace. So that's always going to be a good thing. You guys, those little passamina scarves, you could get for $5, right? There was some people, when if you like the color and you ask them, they'll be trying to charge you $40 in US dollars, and we like, but somebody else says, we know that this person just offered similar quality, same kind of stuff for $5, and you try to talk them down because you can negotiate. But some of them were like very stern on that. So just kind of be careful when you go into the Souks and not being overcharged, and really trying to negotiate when you can. And sometimes you gotta walk away from some stuff, y'all. Walk away from it, because I promise you, you'll see it three blocks, a couple feet away from that. The last big thing we did in terms of activity was the spa. And y'all, Morocco spas are on a whole different level. Partly, now, this might be TMI, but when I go to the spa, I definitely just get naked because I enjoy it. I don't need to be tucking down my pant. Baby, just take it off. I'm comfortable with myself. So, but girl, they will be having you in a room just splashing water on you. They bathe you. You can certainly be like, I don't need all of that. Clutching your pearls, I don't need all of that. But part of their spa is that they literally do scrubs on you, clays and all of the things, and then you go to the next thing. So be prepared for the Moroccan spas, y'all. They different than other spas, and I've been to other spas in other countries and abroad, and it's different because that is what they specialize in. Just experience, a great experience. But baby, I didn't have my hair braided or anything. I had like some a bob, and if you ain't prepared, they give you something to like put on your head if you choose. But girl, literally splashing water on you. They do like a hot splash, then a cold splash, then they put a clay on. Be ready. Just be ready for it. Don't say I ain't want you. Great hotel. It's been so long, Punkin, I don't even remember the name of it, but it was more of a residence that they rented out for us in the center. We probably was about 5 minutes away from driving from a lot of things, maybe a 7-minute drive. So we were essentially able to walk to a lot of things if we chose to. But y'all, we found the key in Morocco with the bootleg Ubers. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. We did not find they were bootleg until our last day. So we had spent most of our trip booking $2 Ubers for 5 people. But a taxi driver told us, and it explained everything, that technically they're not legally able to offer us those rides like Ubers or Lyfts locally. Because every day a taxi driver goes in, show their commission, show their insurance in the event that there is an accident, which y'all, we got into an accident in a taxi from the airport to our Airbnb, my daughter and I, because we flew in together. And when I tell you, the driving is horrible out there. I never like to get rental cars or anything when I'm driving abroad, just because I'm unfamiliar with the roads, so on and so forth. But somebody hit our taxi cab. He jumps out. The police was right there. They ain't did nothing. That young lady was looking around. He yelling out, jumps out, yelling at her. It was a show, okay? And this is in our approved taxi. So we didn't know that Ubers or Lyfts wasn't an actual legal thing, but the gentleman the last day said it's not, is why, like, when they dropping you off, y'all, they like this looking, because also when they're dropping you off is likely a very highly touristy place, and there'll be like 3 taxis. The guy said that they will jump him. They will literally fight these drivers because they're stealing their work. So we did it for 5 days and didn't have an issue. We didn't even know that was a thing until our last day. But literally 5 of us riding around. And I mean, they picked us up from the museum. They picked us up from the Souks. They picked us up because it was so inexpensive. Yeah. So at your own risk, you guys. But I'll leave the Uber app information down below because it's just too good to not even just look into it. Again, at your own risk. Hopefully by the time you go, maybe they'll be at a different place in terms of approving this as an actual service. But yeah, y'all, we was making out like a fat rat. We probably paid $5 in total of just, I mean, not in total, but just for all of us from like a 10-minute ride or a 15-minute ride. It was so inexpensive, where the the taxi from the airport into our Airbnb probably was about $35-$40, and we could have possibly got that right. I think on our return, we took an Uber, and I think we might spent $10, maybe $10, and we had at that point known. But he was like, "Can we drop you off here?" And we was like, "No, you got to drop us off a little further," because he was trying to avoid, again, the taxi drivers. So hope you guys enjoy your trip to Marrakech. If any of these things are things that you actually use and you are a YouTuber, come down in the comments and tell me what place you actually enjoyed the most, because I am definitely going back to Morocco. Morocco was a vibe. Some of the things we did not get to do that was on the itinerary but was not very high up on the itinerary was a desert dinner and show, which again was like a 2 to 3 hour. One was even like a 6-hour drive, so it wasn't as high as a priority. And we were gonna do the air balloons, excuse me. But as I got closer to the trip, you guys, I got scared shitless. I ain't gonna hold you. I just got scared. I started to TikTok and look and see how the air balloon catch on fire and people jumping to their death. I was like, maybe I don't got that much courage this trip. I want to live. But air balloons was on the list, and it's on my bucket list. So I do want to do it at some point, but I think I would do it in Turkey. Turkey has a huge culture of air balloons. So I think that I'll be more safe, and because I do also want to travel back to Turkey. But you guys, so if you're looking for something else and you're a little more brave than I am, maybe also consider air balloons. I think that with a pickup from the hotel was about $100 or so. It was a little more, but they're driving you into the desert, and it's like an early morning pickup, and then they will take you back. So I don't know, you guys, hopefully some of these tips will help you. But listen, I'm gonna do you one better. I'm going to list all of the suggestions and ideas that we start to come up with when we start to develop this itinerary, and our actual itinerary down below, so that you can kind of just open it up and Google things to your leisure. If you're looking for things to fill your days, maybe you'll find some cool things there as well. All right, you guys, take care. Bye-bye.